Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Thank you once again, Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu Prabhu, for kindly hosting this series of talks on Srila Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamritam. I'm very grateful that by your support, I've been able to come to this point. We are on the 52nd part of our series on Sri Upadeshamritam, and today is the final session on the 9th verse that we have been discussing. After this, only 2 verses remain, and that will be our conclusion of this entire series. I hope I'm able to do justice to this series, but I need all the good wishes and blessings of all the wonderful Vaishnavas in the audience. So I request all of you to kindly always keep me in your good wishes and prayers so that I'll be able to speak something for the pleasure of the Guru Parampara. Dear devotees, we are discussing the 9th verse of Srila Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamritam. I'll share my screen and then we can begin. So here is our 52nd part of a detailed study of Srila Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamritam. Dear devotees, before I begin, I'd like to offer Shanti Path, or ensuring peace and auspiciousness for the students as well as for the teacher. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sahana Bhavatu. May Bhagwan protect both of us, the teacher as well as student. Sahanau Bhunaktu. May Bhagwan bestow the highest fruit of this study upon both of us. Sahaviryam Karavavahi. May both of us attain the strength to realize the highest truth. Tejasvi Navadhitamastu. May our study shine forth brilliantly. Ma Vidvishavahai. And may we never envy each other. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May peace pervade the 3 worlds. Dear devotees, it's also important to glorify the author, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. And here is a verse of glorification for him. Shri Gaur Chitta Gambhiryam Vetti Shri Rupa Evahi. Shri Rupa Chitta Gambhiryam Vetti Shri Gaur Evahi. Only Sri Rupa Goswami knows the depths of the heart of Sri Gauranga. And only Sri Gauranga knows the depths of the heart of Srila Rupa Goswami. Dear devotees, we are concluding the 9th instruction, and this instruction is in front of us. Vaikuntha Janito Vara Madhupuri Tatrapi Rasotsavat Vrindaranya Mudara Pani Ramanat Tatrapi Govardhan Radha Kunda Mihapi Gokulapatahe Premamrita Plavanat Kuryadasya Virajato Giritate Sevam Viveki Naka. Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu Prabhu, kindly read the translation.
Due to being the birthplace of Lord Krishna, Mathura Mandala is superior to Vaikuntha. But even in Mathura Mandala, Vrindavan is superior due to the occurrence of the Rasa Lila festival. Superior even to Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill, due to being the pleasure pastime ground of the liberal-handed Krishna. Even in Govardhan, Radha Kunda is superior due to being the bathing place filled with the nectarian Radha Prema that belongs to Sri Krishna. Which intelligent soul will not render service to this Radha Kunda, which resides on the foothills of Sri Govardhan?
Hare Krishna. So even in Govardhan, dear devotees, Radha Kunda is superior. Why? Due to being the bathing place filled with the nectarian Radha Prem that belongs to Sri Krishna. We are finally here, dear devotees. The purpose of Sri Upadeshamritam, the purpose for which Sri Rupa Goswami wrote this literature, that purpose is finally being revealed in the final part of this verse. Dear devotees, Radha Kund is not just a place which the Gaudiya Vaishnavas ended up giving name to a particular pond and ended up calling it Radha Kund. It's not a place that the Gaudiya Vaishnavas invented for their convenience. Sri Radha Kund is a historical place mentioned by the greatest of all Vedic authorities, Srila Vyasadeva. Sri Vyasadeva has directly named Sri Radha Kund in the Puranas. And dear devotees, in the Varaha Purana, we find verses where Sri Vyasadeva has clearly mentioned Sri Radha Kund. From chapter number 164, these are verses 34 to 36. Vrishahatya samayuktah Krishnaschintanvito bhavat Vrisho hato maya chayam Arishtah papa purushah Tatra radha samashlishya Krishnamaklishta Swanamna viditam kundam Kritam tirtham aduratah Radha kundam iti khyatam Sarva papaharam shubham. These verses are directly in the literature of Sri Vyasadeva. Now somebody may say, Hari Parshaddas, you have typed these out very well and you have attributed them to Varaha Purana. But do we find these verses in any printed edition of Varaha Purana? Because if a reputed publisher or a reputed printer has printed these verses, then we will believe that definitely these verses are there in the Varaha Purana. So dear devotees, those of us who read Devanagari can see I am now showing the Varaha Purana printed by one of the most reputed publisher of Puranas in India, that is Venkateshwar Steam Press in Mumbai. They published all the Puranas and the Varaha Purana is one of them. I have highlighted here the same verses that I typed. Vrishahatya samayuktah. And you can see here I am specially highlighting Radha Kundam iti. You can see here it is very clearly the name of Radha Kunda is mentioned. This is the old style of printing. They saved space by printing everything in straight lines. So they do not divide verses into 4 lines. So they print everything in straight lines. And here the name of Radha Kunda is directly mentioned in chapter 164 of the Varaha Purana. Now, what is the translation of this particular section? So I am citing the translation done of this particular Purana by a reputed scholar. I am not doing the translation myself, although I could have done it myself. But I am citing some other scholar who has done the translation so that from a neutral point of view, we can see what is Sri Vyasadev's version of Sri Radha Kunda. Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu, can you please read the English translation of verses 31 to 36?
Yes, Prabhuji. A little to the north of Manasa Ganga, there took place a battle between Lord Krishna and the demon Arishta. A tirtha was formed at the place where Arishta, who had assumed the form of a bull, was angrily hit by the Lord's fist. Krishna bathed at this wonderful tirtha, which appeared at the place of his killing the bull. But he was sorry for having brought upon himself the sin of killing a bull, although it was a demon. Then Radha embraced Krishna and told him about the pond which was known after her name and which was not far from there. This Radha Kunda is capable of removing all sins, and Krishna got rid of the sin there.
Right. So the scholar has put in brackets, and Krishna got rid of the sin there. Most likely because he's, he's not aware that Krishna is never touched by any sin. This was a loving pastime that took place between Srimati Radharani and Krishna. But this is how it is narrated in the Varaha Purana. I am giving the chapter number. I am giving the verse numbers. Dear devotees, anybody who wishes to verify can take any authentic edition of Varaha Purana in the Sanskrit or any proper English or Hindi translation or any translation, and they can verify these verses. Sri Vyasadev has mentioned Sri Radha Kunda directly by name. This is the reason why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after reading these verses, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to discover this tirtha, Sri Radha Kunda. And finally, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived in Sri Govardhan, at the foothills of Sri Govardhan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rediscovered Sri Radha Kunda. So, dear devotees, the Radha Kunda that we Gaudiya Vaishnavas worship, which is the highest aspiration for all of us who are followers of Sri Rupa Goswami. This Radha Kunda is not simply a name given out of convenience to a particular pond. It is a historical location mentioned directly by none other than Sri Vyasadeva in the Puranas. It is important to understand that these locations are historically present in the Puranas, and these were not some things that came merely out of the realizations of latter acharyas. No, it's a historical place, dear devotees. Now, there is a question to be asked. Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu, Mathura is greater than Vaikuntha and Dwarka. What is the reason, Prabhu?
Krishna took birth there.
Wonderful. So what could be greater than Mathura? Of course, Vrindavan. And why is Vrindavan greater, Prabhu?
Because of the Rasa Leela pastimes.
Wonderful. And what could be greater than the Rasa Leela? The Govardhan Hill. Why Govardhan Hill, Prabhu?
Rasa Leela also happened there, and so many other wonderful pastimes.
So, Prabhu, what could be greater than that?
Must be some even more wonderful pastimes.
So, what could be greater than a second Rasa Leela, dear devotees? What could be greater than that? When we try to answer this question, we will know that although Govardhan, it is special because the second Ras Leela took place here. We will notice something about this second Ras Leela. I will once again show the verse which I had shown last time. Rase Shri Shatavandya Sundar Sakhi Vrindanchita Saurabha Brajat Krishna Rasal Bahu Vilasa Kanthi Madhav Madhavi Radha Nrityati Yatra Charuvalate Rasasthali Sapara Yasmin Kah Sukriti Tamunnatamaye Govardhanam Nashraye. Rase, during the Ras festival, Shri Shatavandya Sundara Sakhi Vrindanchita. This Ras festival was in the spring season. Sri Radha was surrounded by hundreds of immensely beautiful Sakhis, and each one of whom is glorified by hundreds of Lakshmis. So in the first Ras Leela that was mentioned, that took place on Vamshi Vata, that Ras Leela where Krishna disappeared, that Ras Leela also, all the gopis came, all the varieties of gopis came. The second Ras Leela, all the varieties of gopis came. Dear devotees, both these places are places belonging to Shri Krishna. The Vamshivat is also his place, because Vamshivata Tatasthitaha. Who is situated on the banks of Vamshivata? Karshan Venu Swanair, who played the flute, Gopinatha. The entire Shri Vrindavan, the entirety of Shri Govardhan, it belongs to Shri Krishna. And therefore, dear devotees, on many occasions, Shri Radha feels that there is no dedicated place for her. It's very important to understand, dear devotees. We have to understand how to read between the lines. What the lines say, that we know. But what is between the lines, we have to understand. In the first Ras festival, all the gopis came and Sri Radha was one of the gopis. Her name is also not mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam directly. Well, thanks to commentators, like I cited Sri Harishuri, thanks to commentators like him, at least her name got an expression through them. But other than that, her name is also not mentioned. She becomes one of the many gopis who have come looking for Shri Krishna. And when those many gopis become proud, Krishna disappears. So, dear devotees, where is the exclusive location named after Sri Radha? Try to think of any place mentioned in the Puranas which is directly named after Sri Radha. All these places, they have the footprints of Shri Krishna. See, Nameshwar Mahaprabhu, Vrindavan has whose footprints?
Swapadaramanam Pravishad Gita Kirti. They have Krishna's
Krishna's footprints.
footprints.
When Akrur arrives in Shri Vrindavan, whose footprints does he see?
Krishna's footprints.
And where will Shri Radha put her footprints? If all the entirety of land of Shri Vrindavan and Govardhan is occupied by Shri Krishna's footprints, where is Shri Radha's, as in English they say, stomping ground? What is the stomping ground of Shri Radha?
Radha Kunda.
Well, that is the answer to the query. But before Radha Kund manifested in this world, there was no place that Sri Radha would call her own. And it's a very difficult situation that the individual who loves Shri Krishna the most, that individual remains anonymous in the literature of the Acharyas, of Sri Vyasadeva. So, dear devotees, Sri Radha always had this lamentation within her. After Krishna lifted the Govardhan Hill, Udara Pani Ramanat, we saw. Sri Radha often had this lamentation. And she once clearly expressed this lamentation to Sri Krishna. This is a verse from the Krishna Karnamritam of Sri Bilvamangal Thakur. The verse is in the meter Shardul Vikriditam. I'll sing the verse. Purvyam kopi mahidharo laghutaro Dorbhyam dhrito leelaya Tena tvam divi bhutale cha satatam Govardhano dharaka त्वां त्रैलोक्यधरं वहामि हृदि मे नैवात्र तद्गण्यते किं वा केशव भाषणेन बहुधा पुण्यैर्यशो लभ्यते. After the Govardhan Hill pastime of raising the Govardhan for 7 days took place, Sri Radha once asked Sri Krishna, Urvyam kopi mahidharo laghutaro. There was Govardhan is a very small hill on planet Earth. Govardhan is not the biggest hill. There are bigger hills than Sri Govardhan. No? Dameshwar Mahaprabhu, can you name a hill which is bigger in size than Govardhan?
You can definitely name a mountain that's bigger.
Himalayas are bigger. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna calls himself which hill?
Himalaya.
Yes. So Govardhan is very small. Urvyam kopi mahidharo laghutaro. On this earth, small hill, Dorbhyam dhrito lila, you play fully lifted. Tena, and by that, just see what happened. Divi bhutalecha. No, in heaven and on earth, Satatam, everybody is constantly glorifying you. What Govardhano Dharka, oh Giridhari, oh wonderful lifter of Govardhan. Yeah? Tvam Trailokya Dharam. Some people glorify you as Trailokya Dharam, that you hold the three worlds. Some people say like this, I've heard. Vahami Hridi me. But I hold you in my heart, oh Krishna. Naivatra tad ganyate. Nobody counts that. Nobody counts that. And Krishna started giving some philosophical explanation. Oh, see, Radha, please try to understand. Then she asked him to be quiet. Kim va keshava bhashanena. Don't give these big lectures, Krishna. What's the use? Bahudha punyair yasho labhyate. Actually, fame is acquired mainly by pious karma. And I don't have any pious karma, Krishna. You know why? I lost all of it in loving you. A lady who is married to somebody else, when she falls in love with a paramour outside her marriage, she loses all her good karma. Krishna, I lost all of my good karma. And I have nobody to glorify me after I'm gone. Krishna, millions of people will glorify you. Millions of people. And I'll be forgotten. So this was the lamentation of Sri Radha. And dear devotees, this lamentation of Sri Radha, we will take it very seriously. Because if we have not realized by now, at least now I'll make it very clear, that the Gaudiya Vaishnavs are primarily dedicated to Sri Radha. Our acharyas have constantly said that Radha Dasyam, servitude to Srimati Radharani, is our ultimate aspiration. Here is a discussion that Srila Prabhupada was having. It is recounted in a biography of Srila Prabhupada. Kindly read, Rameshwar Mahaprabhu.
Lakshmi Narayana Bhattacharya was friendly with Srila Prabhupada. Lakshmi Narayana Bhattacharya was a very old man who was a disciple of Sri Dinabandhu Das Babaji, who was a servant of Srila Gorkishore Das Babaji. Twice I saw them meet and talk very intimately in Bengali for a long time. They spoke about the servitorship of Srimati Radharani. I don't know if it was taped. Sri Bhattacharya discussed how our aim is Radha Dasyam. Radhika's service, and Manjari Seva. Without Radha's service, we cannot get Lord Krishna Chandra. I remember Srila Prabhupada laughed and said, yes, yes, all of you are Vrajavasis. This is the way and the goal.
So, this is an incident. Oh, wow, you have the book. Okay, let me.
I just happen to be reading the same book.
Oh, wonderful. That's so wonderful. Can you show it again, Prabhu, on the screen? Sorry, the screen was sharing. Yeah. So, this is the book. Our Srila Prabhupada, friend to all. Wonderful. Thank you, Prabhu. What a lovely coincidence. So, this is not the only place where Srila Prabhupada mentioned this aspiration. Directly in his books, he also spoke of this aspiration. Prabhu, kindly read.
My father used to receive many saintly persons at our home, and every one of them used to say, to every one of them he used to say, kindly bless my son that he may become a servant of Radharani. That was his only ambition.
Yes. So this was what Srila Prabhupada's father, Sri Gaur Mohan De, this is what he wanted for his son. That my son should become a servant of Srimati Radharani. And how does it feel, Dameshwar Mahaprabhu Prabhu, that, Srimati Radharani doesn't have a place in her own name. The entire pastime place is named and marked everywhere and branded everywhere with Sri Krishna. How does that feel?
It's not fair, Prabhuji.
Not fair at all. Absolutely not fair. Now, not only Srila Prabhupada's own guru, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, also mentioned this on quite a few occasions. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur once said, devotees of Vishnu are called Vaishnavas. Devotees of Krishna are called Karshnas. And devotees of Sri Radha are called Gaudiyas. So this is in a question and answer book named Amritvani, where there are many questions and he's giving answers. So this was one of the answers, that he gave. At another place, in an article named Shri Guru Tattva and Seva, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, in Madhur Ras, Srila Gurudev is Varshabhanavi, Sri Radha. So actually in Madhurya Ras, the Guru is Srimati Radharani. According to a person's eternal nature, he will see that same Sri Gurudev as a certain absolute reality. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was saying that, in Shastra it is said that the Guru is not different from Krishna. Acharyam mam vijaniyan. That's what the Srimad Bhagavatam says. But those who are in specific rasas, they have a more specific vision of Shri Guru. For them, Shri Guru is a manifestation of Shri Radhika. This is what Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said in his article Shri Guru Tattva and Seva. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur also confirms the same in his songs. Bhakti Vinoda Rupa Raghunathe Kahe Charana Dhari Heno Radha Dasyam Sudhira Sampada Kabedi Bekripa Kari. Bhakti Vinod Rupa Raghunathe Kahe Charana Dhari. Bhakti Vinod says to Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunath, clasping their lotus feet, Heno Radha Dasya Sudhira Sampada Kabedi Bekripa Kari. When will you bestow your mercy upon me and give me eternal service towards her? Her service is the wealth of the truly sober, wise individuals. Dear devotees, this is the choicest goal of life of the Rupanuga Vaishnavas. But it is very difficult for us when we see that Krishna invites Sri Radha as one of the gopis in all his pastimes. We don't like that, dear devotees. We do not like that at all. And therefore, we should have something special for her. Not only that, sometimes Krishna taunts Sri Radha. Time and again, he keeps taunting her that this is my forest. This is my forest. In the Dan Keli Kaumudi, when Krishna stops Sri Radha and the other gopis because he has his friends and he's collecting the tax. We saw last time what was the tax he was asking. What he said and what he intended to say. He wanted to give clothes to so many hundreds and thousands of brahmanas. But the actual vow was something different. Those of us who have attended the previous session, we know what is the toll that he wanted to exact from Sri Radha. In that very Dan Keli Kaumudi, Krishna directly says to Sri Radha, एकस्य त्वं प्रभुरसि सदु द्वादशानां वनानाम् एतच्चाल्पं निखिल जगति वर्तिनामेव देवः सामन्तश्रीस्त्वमिति स महामन्मथश्चक्रवर्ती पथ्यं राधे शृणु हठममुं मा कृथास्तस्य शुल्के एकस्य त्वं प्रभुरसि. Rather, some people say that you are Vrindavan Ishwari. Let's say I accept that. Although I still contest that because I am the lord of all the forests. But still, let's say if it is accepted that you are the mistress of one forest, Vrindavan, Radhe Vrindavaneshwari. But Satu, the master for whom I am collecting this toll, Cupid, basically, is referring to himself. Dvadashanam Vananam, he is the master of all the 12 forests. Etat Chalpam, not only these 12 forests, Nikhila Jagati Vartinam, all the forests in the world, he is the Lord. Samanta Shris, you are a Samanta, you are merely a feudal chief in front of him. Sa Mahamanmathas Chakravarti, whereas he is Chakravarti, the Almighty King. Pathyam Radhe Shrunu, listen to your own benefit, O Radha. Hathamamum Makrithas, give up your obstinacy. Tasya Shulke, in paying his toll tax. Quickly pay the toll tax, O Radha. So time and again, he is taunting Sri Radha by saying that, I am the owner of Vrindavan, I am the owner of Vrindavan, I am the lord of, this place, you should pay tax to me. Now somebody should feed him his own medicine, dear devotees. And therefore, when Krishna was in his 11th year, at that particular point of time, the pastime of killing the Arishtasur bull took place. So this was in his 11th year, and before that all these pastimes had taken place. In his 11th year, he killed Arishtasur. And after killing Arishtasur, this wonderful pastime of quarrel began. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has wonderfully described this pastime in his commentary to Srimad Bhagavatam. He has written almost 20-21 verses describing this pastime in his commentary to the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. After Krishna kills Arishtasur, there is a discussion that takes place between Sri Krishna and Sri Radha and her friends. These verses are in the meter Vasanta Tilakam, same as the Brahma Samhita. Masman sprishadya vrishabhardana hanta mukta goro suro yamai Krishna tadapyayam gau vritro yatha dvija ihastva inishkrit kim shuddhyed bhavam stribhuvanasthita tirtha krichra. Masman sprishadya. Sri Radha suddenly says to Sri Krishna, Ma asman sprisha adya. Don't touch us today. Vrishabha Ardhan, O killer of the bull. Hanta Mugdha. Krishna says, alas, O Mugdha. Mugdha means foolish girl. Alas, foolish girl. Why are you saying like this? Ghoro Suroyam. This was a terrible demon. Ai Krishna, tadapi ayam gauhu. Still, it was from the species of go or cows. Vritro yatha dvija. So Vritrasur was also a demon, but he was a Brahmana. And by killing Vritrasur, Indra got a reaction because Vritrasur was a Brahmana. Similarly, you two are implicated. So Shri Krishna says, Ai Nishkriti Kim becomes rejected. Ai. So now what is the way? Because Shri Krishna is eager to touch her. What is the way out now? So Sri Radha says, Shuddhet Bhavams Tribhuvanasthita Tirtha Kruchrat. You will be purified only by bathing in all the tirthas in the three worlds. So this is in the 36th chapter of the 10th canto, verse number 15. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur usually writes his commentary in the form of paragraphs. In this particular verse, in his commentary, he is writing, composing so many verses. So as soon as she said that, don't touch me, because now you become affected by the sin of killing a cow, Krishna started thinking, Kim paryatami bhavanani? Should I travel to all the places in the world and take bath in all these, holy tirthas? No. Aniya tirtha vitatihi karavani tasu. Krishna also said, I will bring all the tirthas here. Now he then started saying proudly in front of Sri Radha, Snanam vilokayata. Just see how I bathe. And then what did Krishna do? Parshnigatam. He took his left, heel, and from his left heel he struck the ground. And by striking the ground, something happened. Patalato jalam. Suddenly, from the lower planetary systems, the waters of Ganga manifested. And along with Ganga, all the other tirthas also manifested. And when all the tirthas had manifested, Krishna said, Agachata, come here, in my pond. So then he said to Sri Radha, now you see all the tirthas have come here. Sri Radha said, Naiva Pratima, I don't see any rivers here. You just extracted some water from the ground. Then Krishna indicated to all the tirthas, all the holy rivers, and then all of them took a form, personified form, in front of Sri Radha and the gopis. And then they started saying, Kritanjali Putta, with folded hands, they started saying something. What did they say? Lavanabdhirasmi, I am the salt ocean. Because the salt ocean is also a tirtha, a place to take a holy bath. Kshirabdhirasmi, I am the milk ocean. Amar Dirghika Asmi, I am the Ganga from the heavenly planets. Shonopi Sindhuraham Asmi, I am the Sindhu river, I am the Shona river, I am the Tamraparni. Each of the rivers started saying, I am Godavari, I am Saraswati, I am Reva, I am Yamuna, I am Sarayu. And then Sri Krishna then took a bath in his kunda. And after taking a bath, he becomes Ati Pragalva. He becomes very proud. And he says, see, I have now performed such piety. And you gopis, you have no piety at all. No piety at all. So at that point of time, Sri Krishna instead starts saying that all of you are not eligible for touching me. Because I have great piety. But you all do not have any piety. So Sri Radha, at that point of time, decides to create her own kunda. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur composes a verse. Karyam mayapyati manohara kundamekam tasmadyatadvamiti tadvachanena tabhihi Shri Krishna kunda tatapaschima mando gartah krito vrishabhadaitya khurairvyaloki. Sri Radha said, Karyam mayapyati manohara kundamekam. most beautiful kunda should also be made by me in my name. Dear devotees, this is the first time that Sri Radha says, Mayapi, I should also do something of my own. Kunda Mekam. And Ati Manohara, most beautiful kunda, my name. Tasmad Yatadvamiti. Tadvachanena tap. Therefore, all Sakhis, you should put efforts for the same. This is for the first time that Sri Radha is claiming some property in her own name in Sri Govardhan. Then what did the gopis do? Sri Krishna Kunda Tata Paschima Dishi. So they created a new kund on the western side of Sri Shyam Kunda. They observed that Amando Gartah Krito, there was a big crater already created there by the impact of Vrishabhadaitya, by Arishtasur. There was already a big crater on the western side of Shyam Kund created by Arishtasur. And after seeing that crater, they decided we will use this particular place for the new kund of Srimati Radharani. And this kund will be in her name. And it will be more beautiful than Sri Krishna's kund. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur goes ahead and describes that Mrid Mridula Gola, they entered into that and they started extracting balls of, mud from that place. Using their own hands, all the gopis, started extracting balls of mud. And Divyam Sarha Prakatitam. Sri Radha then caused an equally divine sarovar, an equally divine lake to manifest there. And when Sri Krishna saw this, Sri Krishna became a little insecure because this is the first place in Sri Govardhan that has been taken over by Sri Radha. Krishna just lost a small bit of his property around Govardhan. So Sri Krishna wants to have his name stamped on that kunda. And then Sri Krishna said, Tirtha Salilai Paripura Yaitan. Sri Krishna said, why don't you fill your kunda with the waters of all the tirthas from my kunda? Sri Radha at that point of time clearly said no. Because why say yes? Then you can say no. Proche chatirtha salilai paripurayaitan matkundatah sarasi jakshi sahalibhistvam Radha tadananananete jagadayasmat Tvatkunda niramurgovadh patakaktam. Prochecha. Sri Krishna said, Sarasi Jakshi, O lotus-eyed Radha. Tirtha Salirai Paripurayaitan Matkundatah Sahalivis. You along with your Sakhis, please fill your kund with the waters of the tirthas from my kund. Radha Tatha Nanananeti. At that time, Sri Radha said, Nananana. Why? Vatkunda Neeram, your kunda's waters are polluted by the sins of killing a cow. Sri Radha declined his offer. So Sri Krishna is more desperate now because Sri Krishna wants to have this particular place, some stamp of him on this particular place. So Sri Krishna at that point of time, wanted the waters of his kunda to enter Radha Kunda. But Sri Radha was saying no. Sri Radha instead said, Ahritya Punya Salilam Shatakoti Kombai. We'll take 100 million pots and bring the waters from Manasi Ganga. I have so many Sakhis. I'll engage all of them in bringing from the Manasi Ganga. And I will fill my kunda. And my kunda will be more pious and pristine than yours because my kunda is not affected by the sin of killing a cow. So at that point of time, Sri Krishna became a little more desperate. And then he indicated all the holy rivers in his kunda all the holy rivers then with folded hands came in front of Sri Radha and then said, Sri Radha, we accept the fact. Nobody accepted till now, but we accept the fact that Tvadiya Mahima Namavait Sarva. Shastrartha Vinnana Chavidhirna Harona Lakshmi. Not even the greatest Shastric people know your glories. Neither Brahma knows your true glories, neither Lakshmi knows your true glories. Only one person knows your glories, Sri Radha. Who knows? Tvat prasveda marjana parah swayameva Krishna. Only Krishna knows. And how do we know? We have seen sometimes that Krishna wipes the wonderful drops of sweat that sometimes come on your forehead. So Sri Krishna sometimes wipes using his own hands. Only he understands your glories. Nobody else understands. Then they said, yes, charu yavakarasena bhavat padacham. Actually, Sri Krishna takes great delight in putting ankle bells around your lotus feet. And when you glance at him lovingly, he considers that as his greatest benediction. He considers himself to be completely fulfilled. Oh, Sri Radha, we know. By his order, we have come here. Oh, Sri Radha, if you are merciful, kindly allow us all rivers to enter into your Kunda. And by entering your Kunda, all of us will become successful. Then Sri Radha said, Agachata. All right. What do you want? All of you want to enter into my Kunda? Sri Radha is very intelligent here. She is not saying, what do I want? She said, what do you want? Because later, in future, nobody should say that, Sri Radha wanted all the rivers to come. Therefore, Krishna will say, therefore, I mercifully allowed all the rivers to enter into her Kunda. In future, Krishna will, because he is a constant liar, so he will use every opportunity to trivialize Sri Radha's glories. So Sri Radha said, what do you want? What does your master want? That you tell me. So they said, oh, our master wants that we should enter your Kunda. So, okay, if he wants, not if I want, if he wants, she lovingly gazed at Sri Krishna. And then all the rivers broke through the barriers of Radha Kunda and Shyam Kunda and entered into Sri Radha Kunda, the devotees. At that point of time, Sri Krishna said something to Sri Radha. Proche Hare Priyatame Tava Kunda Metan Mat Kunda Topi Mahimadhikamastu Loke Atraiva Me Salila Keli Rehaiva Nityam Snanam Yathatvamasi Tadvadidam Sarome. Proche Hari, Krishna said, Priyatame, most beloved Radha, Tava Kundam, Etan mat kunda topi mahimadhikamastu. May your kunda be eternally more glorious than mine in all the worlds. Krishna is defeated here, dear devotees. He tried many things. But finally, only by the mercy of Sri Radha were the waters of Shyama Kund allowed into Radha Kund. And Sri Krishna became so happy on this defeat that he said, may your kunda be eternally more glorious than mine. Krishna here says, Tava Kundam. Dear devotees, please note here in the first line, Krishna says, Tava Kundam, your Kunda. This is a proof for all of us that in the entirety of Govardhan, Vrindavan, etc., there is one dedicated place for our Guru, Sri Radha. And what is that place? That place which has been named by Sri Krishna as Tava Kundam, your Kunda. Be eternally more glorious than mine. in all the worlds. Atraiva me salila kelir. I will bathe here and perform various sports. Nityam snanam. Yathatvamasi tadvadidam saromi. Just as you are dear most to me, so is this Kunda. And dear devotees, not only that, Sri Radha also said, Aham api swasakhi biretya. I will also, along with my friends, take bath in Shyam Kunda. And I give Shyam Kunda benediction that one who takes a bath in Shyam Kunda, may he become very dear to me. And finally, dear devotees, Sri Krishna executed a third, a secret Rasalila pastime that very night of Bahulashtami, that he had killed Arishtasur. That very night, Sri Krishna executed a third, a secret Rasalila, but this time only with one particular gopi. And that gopi was Sri Radha, dear devotees. Rasotsavam prakurute sma cha tatra ratrau Krishnam buddha krita maharasa harsha varsha Shri Radhika pravara vidyudalam krita shris Trailokya madhya vitati krita divya kirti. Tatra ratrau, that night, Rasotsavam prakurute Krishna Buddha, that dark cloud named Krishna engaged in a rasa festival. And Krita Maharasa Harsha Varsha, and he caused great showers of joyous Maharas to manifest. Just as a cloud causes shower, Krishna is being compared to a cloud. And just as a cloud causes joyous showers, Sri Krishna, the dark cloud, caused great joyous showers of Maharas to manifest in that secret Rasalila. Shri Radhika Pravara Vidyuda Lankrita Shri. His body was decorated by the lightning-like embrace of Sri Radha. So if Sri Krishna is the dark cloud, Sri Radha is like the lightning that embraces the dark cloud. And Trailokya Madhya Vitati Krita Divya Kirti. In this way, he spread the divine glories of Sri Radha Kund and Shyam Kund in the three worlds. Dear devotees, so many verses Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has composed just to make all of us aware what exactly happened here. Now, therefore, our acharyas like Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, they say that ever since I have seen Sri Radha Kund, something has drastically changed within me. He composes a wonderful verse in the meter Prithvi. I'll try to sing this verse, dear devotees. Yada tava sarovaram sarasa bringa sangolasan Saroruhagulojvalam maduravarisam puritam Sputat sarasijakshrihe nayana yugma sakshad babho Tadaiva mamalal sanjanita vaiva dasye rase Yada tava sarovaram sarasabringa sangolasan. Lotus-eyed Sri Radha, ever since I have seen with my own eyes your kunda, filled with sweet water and decorated with buzzing bees and lotus flowers. Tadaiva mama lalasa jani tavaiva dasya rase. Since that day, I have given up the hope for becoming Krishna Das. Since that day, there is an immense greed in my heart for Sri Radha Dasyam. Dear devotees, this is the place where Sri Radha Dasyam will be fully manifest. Because this place belongs to Sri Radha. It rightfully belongs to her. It is named after her. And Sri Krishna can do nothing to stake claim over that property. Whenever Sri Krishna enters this property, a toll will be exacted from him. Dear devotees, whenever Shri Krishna climbs on a boat, a rescue toll will be exacted from him. Dear devotees, it's payback time, and Sri Radha got her place in Sri Govardhan. Therefore, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami concludes in his Vraja Vilasa Stava. Shri Vrindavipinam Suramyama Pita Shriman Govardhana Sarasasthalikapyalam Rasamai Kim Tavadanyasthalam Yasyapyam Shalavena Narhati Marak Samyam Mukundasya Tat Praणेभ्योऽप्यधिकप्रिये वदयितं तत्कुण्डमेवाश्रये. Shri Vrindavipinam Suramyam. Vrindavan forest is definitely beautiful. Apitat, more than that is Shriman Govardhana, Shri Govardhan Hill. And even more than Govardhan Hill, Sa Rasa Sthali Kapi, that nectarian Rasa Sthali in Govardhan is even more beautiful. Kim Tavad Anya Sthalam, what to speak of other places? Nothing compares to Rasa Sthali. But even that Rasa Sthali, Yasyap Amshalaven and Narhati Manak, it is not comparable even to a small fragment of Sri Radha Kunda. And just as Mukundasya tat pranebhyopi adhika priya eva daitam. Just as Sri Radha is dearer than life to Sri Krishna, similarly her Kunda is also dear to him. Tat kundam eva ashraye. I take shelter of that Kunda, Sri Radha Kunda, dear devotees. In summary, Vaikuntha is very great. Why? Because Bhagwan always sports there. But there is something lacking in Vaikuntha, that there is no Krishna Leela in Vaikuntha. Alright? Dwarka is greater than Vaikuntha. Because not only Krishna eternally resides there, and there's Krishna Leela going on eternally. No? Therefore, Dwarka is greater. But there is still no Krishna Janma Leela in Dwarka. Greater than Dwarka is Mathura. Because not only does Krishna reside there and perform eternal pastimes, but when he appears in this world, he manifests his birth pastime in Mathura. So Dwarka has everything that Vaikuntha has, plus Dwarka has Krishna Leela. Mathura has everything that Dwarka has, plus Mathura has Janma Leela. Vrindavan is greater, because Vrindavan has everything that Mathura has. Krishna resides there, Krishna performs pastimes there, but Krishna also manifests a birth there parallelly, you know. And on top of that, Krishna does something in Vrindavan which he doesn't do in Mathura. And what is that? He manifests the Rasa Leela here. And on top of that, Govardhan is better because not only does Krishna reside here and perform his eternal pastimes, but he also performs Rasa Leela here, a second Rasa Leela. On top of that, he also performs so many pastimes of union with Sri Radha and the gopis. Nauka Leela, the boat pastime, the Dan Leela, the toll exacting pastime, all these pastimes are performed in Sri Govardhan. And dear devotees, Sri Radha Kund, however, is the greatest place because not only does Krishna reside here and perform eternal pastimes, but he also performs a secret Ras Leela here exclusively with Sri Radha. On top of that, Radha Kund has all the benefits that Govardhan has due to being situated at the foothills of Govardhan. On top of that, this Radha Kund denotes the complete victory of Sri Radha over Sri Krishna. On top of that, this Kunda is her rightful place, a place named exclusively after her, and a place where Krishna will remain eternally subservient to her. This is our stomping ground, dear devotees, this Radha Kund. Therefore, Nameshwar Mahaprabhu, Vaikuntha Janito Vara Madhupuri, Tatrapi Rasotsavat, Vrindaranyam Udara Pani Ramanat, Tatrapi Govardhanaha, Radha Kunda mihapi Gokulapatehe Premamrita Plavanat Puryadasya Virajato Giritate Sevam Viveki Nakaha. Prabhu, kindly read the last rhetorical question.
Due to being the birthplace of Krishna, Mathura Mandala is superior to Vaikuntha. Even in Mathura Mandala, Vrindavan is superior due to the occurrence of the Rasa Leela festival. Superior even to Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill, due to being the pleasure pastime ground of the liberal-handed Krishna. Even in Govardhan, Radha Kunda is superior due to being the bathing place filled with the nectarian Radha Prema that belongs to Sri Krishna. Which intelligent soul will not render service to this Radha Kunda, which resides on the foothills of Sri Govardhan?
This is the last part of the verse. I'll not dedicate a separate class to this question, because if after all this, if this question still needs to be answered, that I am not successful in conveying the message. Sri Rupa Goswami has made it a rhetorical question, and I'll keep it rhetorical. After hearing so much about Sri Radha Kunda, which intelligent soul will not render service to this Radha Kunda, which resides on the foothills of Sri Govardhan? Dear devotees, this was the 9th verse, the 9th Upadesh of Sri Upadeshamritam. And I'll conclude this verse with a prayer to Sri Rupa Goswami. This is the mirror verse to the 9th verse. No Vaikuntha Samriddha Lokarichaye Na Dwarika Pattane न श्रीमन्मथुरापुरे च भवतात् काचिद् विवत्सा मम शश्वत् श्रीव्रजमण्डले गिरिवर प्रान्तस्थ राधासरस् तीरे सिद्धतनोर्ममास्तु वसति श्रीरूपकारुण्यता नो वैकुण्ठ समृद्ध लोकनिचये. Neither in the vast multitudes of prosperous Vaikuntha planets, na Dwarika Pattane, nor in the royal city of Dwarka, na Shri Mathurapure, nor within the auspicious city of Mathura, cha bhavatat kachid vivatsa mama. May I never have even the slightest of desires in me to reside in any of these places. Vivatsa denotes the desire to stay. Vastum ichha, the desire to stay. Instead, Shashvat, Shri Vraja Mandale, in Shri Vraja Mandala, on the foothills of Shri Govardhan, Girivara Prantastha, Radha Sarastire, on the banks of Radha Kunda. Siddha Tanoh Mamastu. Let there be residence for my true self equipped with a perfected eternal body. Vasati, let there be an eternal residence. But how will it be possible? Shri Rupa Karunyata. It will be possible only by the mercy of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Yadatra Khalitam Kinchit Vidvamsaha Purayantu Tat. Yadatra Saushthavam Kinchit Tadgurorevam Menahi. Yadatra Khalitam Kinchit. If I made any mistake, dear devotees, you are Vidvamsa, you are learned devotees, Purayantu Tat. Please correct any mistakes. But Yadatra Saushthavam Kinchit. Whatever was nice, please remember. Tad Guru Reva, it belongs to my Gurujanas. May nahi, doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, dear Hari Parshad Prabhu, for a really beautiful class. We're so lucky to be here. You've revealed so many secrets that just illuminate the text of Upadeshamrita so wonderfully. I haven't read all, there's my daughter. I haven't read all of these literatures, and I just don't know where I would start. Sometimes I feel like I'm not even qualified to touch them, but you bring out all of the relevant quotes and parts so that we're able to understand everything really nicely. So thank you so much for all the preparation and presentation and question answering that you do. I know it's a lot of work and we're very, very grateful. With that, we will go to questions and answers. And we just have a few requests. I can make this large. Please keep your questions related to today's class. And if you have a question that's very, very specific, for example, a particular word and a particular commentary on a particular verse, it's better to ask that kind of question in the group because it takes time to look things up. Please don't bring up any particular person or institution with your question. We want to avoid loaded questions or political questions and try to leave room for other people so everyone gets a chance. And you can always come back later and ask another question. So we will begin with
there's one more thing.
Ms. Prabhuji.
If somebody wants to join the WhatsApp group, they can send an email to this address. And in this email address, they can send a mail and you should specify your WhatsApp number and then you will be added to the group. Thank you very much. Let's start.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Our first question is from Part Pancholi Prabhu.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I am very fortunate that I joined your class and by the mercy of the Lord and with the help of the Jadwarkar Prabhu. So, okay, I got to know about you. So, I am very fortunate, Prabhuji. Dhanvat Pranam again. Prabhuji, here's one of the question that I want to ask, that in the 8th instruction, we got to know that our goal should be Tishtan Vrajet. And we can achieve that by following the Raganuga Bhakti, okay, of so the mood which we are following. So, okay, this also applies to the Radha Kunda also.
So your question
our
is?
Goal should, yes. So how we can, okay, so our goal related to the Radha Kund is only related to staying into that place, or should renting service to that place, or how we should see that Radha Kund? What should be our service? Only by staying there physically, or by mentally also, or any other surface which, okay, we will got to know about that in the future from our Guru, who is Raganuga Bhakti, into that particular mood.
Yeah, so this was clarified in the previous sessions that seva has to be performed in 2 ways, and through the physical body, and service also through the mind. So in the previous sessions, this was specified that Tishthan Vraje. What is the meaning of staying in Vraja? Staying through the physical body, Sri Jiva Goswami had specified in a commentary to Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. I had shown that if somebody has the caliber to stay in Vraja, they should stay through the physical body. Somebody doesn't have the caliber, they should stay through the mind. So both options are there. Somebody who doesn't have the caliber to stay through the physical body should stay through the mind. So all these things have been previously covered in the sessions on the previous verses. I'm sure that if you see all the question and answers and the presentations, the answer is already there, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Next, we have a question from Sri Ram Patro Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam. Prabhuji, I wanted to ask Prabhuji, Prabhuji, what is the best way we can serve Radha Kund? Prabhuji, because Prabhuji, like we can pray and those things are there. But Prabhuji, what is the best way, or what our acharyas? Because Prabhuji, as Bhakti Vinod Thakur have made a bhajan kutir in Radha Kund, then again in Mayapur, Prabhuji. Mayapur is for preaching Godrum Dweep, and here the same name Swananda Sukhada Kund. So, Prabhuji, my doubt is that Prabhuji, our as a Gaudiya Vaishnava or follower of ISKCON, it is more on preaching, but again, Prabhuji, few devotees who are for bhajananandi kind of thing. So, how we can serve Radha Kunda, or Prabhuji, what is the thing we should try for?
Once again, the name of an institution has been taken in the question, so I'm a little hesitant because the thing is that irrespective of which institution we belong to, I'm not naming any institution specifically, irrespective of which institution we belong to, we should have a practice of personal bhajan. Sri Rupa Goswami's instructions apply to all Vaishnavas. There is no Vaishnava who is being told not to perform bhajan and just perform prachar, or what they say, preaching. There is no Vaishnava who is supposed to do only prachar devoid of bhajan. Because a serious Vaishnava, a Vaishnava who wants to advance, should have a culture of Shri Krishna bhajan. And for that, Sri Rupa Goswami has given all these instructions. Your question is, how should we serve Radha Kunda? This question will become very clear. The answer to this question will become very clear once a person becomes self-driven after attaining lobha. Once a person has attained lobha, the path becomes clear as to what they should be doing and what they should not be doing. It's not that somebody will ask, what should I do now? And then I will tell you, yeah, you should do this. And then you will go and that is not the attitude of the person who knows. If you know, you know. If you don't know, then something is lacking. And what is lacking? That is lobha. So the first thing is not what should I do? The first thing is how should I go about developing the proper attitude, and that is by having the requisite for Raganuga Bhakti. The prerequisite for Raganuga Bhakti has been specified as lobha by all the previous acharyas. Once you develop lobha, and I have also specified, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says lobha develops in different ways. Some people have lobha from previous life. Some people develop in this life by the association of a sadhu. In whatsoever way you get that lobha, once you have it, you will become self-driven and self-motivated and the path will be clear. So that is the answer to the query. The answer is very highly individual specific. I cannot give one instruction to everybody as to how they should serve Radha Kund. Because frankly speaking, serving Radha Kund is a highly individual affair. It cannot be done on a mass scale. Therefore, the answer to this query will be revealed only to somebody who has the prerequisite, that is, who has the required lobha. One who has the lobha, they will know the answer to this query, how to serve Sri Radha Kunda. Right?
Yes. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Next, we have a question from Deepayan Mukherjee Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for a very beautiful class and very pleasing to the heart. After your class, you made it very clear that Radha Kund is the place which belongs to Srimati Radharani. Then at the end of the class, I saw your translation of the 9th verse, and there you written that Radha Kund is filled with Radha Prem, which belongs to Shri Krishna. So I'm curious about this. Could you please clarify, like why you wrote belongs to Shri Krishna over there?
This is Gokul Pateh Premamrita Plavanat. So Gokul Pat, Sri Radha's love. Who will have love for Sri Radha? Please tell me.
Krishna will.
So obviously Krishna will have Radha Prem. And how did Krishna show this Radha Prema in the incident of Radha Kunda?
He became subordinate to her.
So that is what is the indication.
Okay. Thank you.
Because till now, Sri Krishna was boldly saying, oh, Radha has love for me. Oh, Radha should become subservient to me. Oh, Radha has Krishna Prema. Wonderful. But for the first time, it is proved that Sri Krishna has Radha Prema and he has become subservient to Srimati Radharani through this incident. That is what we wanted.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So it sounds like the phrase Gokula Pate has a certain significance of saying the one who is the proprietor of all of Vrindavan has become a property of Srimati Radharani at Radha Kunda. Is that right?
Yes, Prabhu. In the future talks, when Srimati Radharani's some more details will be discussed, I'll try to bring out how exactly Sri Krishna's subservience manifests in this world. So that is a subject matter for future discussion. But right now we know that at this place, his subservience has manifested. That is what it is.
Wonderful, Prabhuji. Next, we have a question from Bhakti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Thank you for the wonderful class. My question is about Barsana. So I don't have any praman, but the general understanding from my visits to Dham is that Barsana belongs to Radharani, Nandagaon belongs to Krishna. It's their own birthplace, own. Even the Vrajavasis have that mood ki, like Barsana Radharani ka ghar hai, and Nandagaon Krishna ka like that. So how do we basically understand where Barsana's significance in relation to Govardhan and Radha Kunda?
Varshana is the home of Maharaj Vrishabhanu. He is the king of Varshana. The entire place is named after Maharaj Vrishabhanu. And in the eternal pastimes, Mataji, Bhakti Mataji, if you go in the eternal pastimes, Nitya Lila, if you go to Varshana, in the eternal pastimes, where Maharaj Vrishabhanu is also present, and if you go say there that this is Sri Radha's place, will Maharaj Vrishabhanu accept this proposal?
No.
So everybody in Varshana knows that this is the place of Maharaj Vrishabhanu. But where is the place? Moreover, this place does not also have the name of Sri Radha in its name. So we need a place which not only belongs exclusively to Sri Radha, but which also has a clear marking of Sri Radha's name in it, and which is also mentioned by Sri Vyasadev in the Puranas as an eternal place. So which place fits that criteria, Mataji?
Only Radha Kunda. Thank you, Prabhuji. Beautiful, thank you.
Also, where does Rasa Leela take place? In Varshana or in Govardhan?
In Govardhan, and you revealed that it also happened in Radha Kunda. But do we know if it ever happened in Barsana, in Morkuti and Mangad? Do we know if ever Rasa Leela happened there?
Mataji, at least I am not aware of much. Wherever it happened, I listed the 3-4 places in the previous talk.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Next, we have a question from Krishnankita Devidasi Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hi, Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Prabhuji, apologies, as I noticed, I couldn't stop asking this question. So since today you have put Radha Kunda Tilak, and as we see in our Gaudiya Sampradaya, there are many sects who apply only Radha Kunda Tilak. And if I'm not wrong, Gopi Chandan comes from Dwarka. And usually what do we apply is Gopi Chandan. So just wanted to understand the why behind that.
Even though it is said that Gopi Chandan comes from Dwarka, and it is called Gopi Chandan because it is the remnants of the gopis. Therefore, it is called Gopi Chandan. And we take great pride in applying their remnant dust on our heads. But since this is a part of Sri Upadeshamritam where I have to speak about Sri Radha Kunda, it will be most ungrateful of me if I also don't mark my body with the indications of Sri Radha. Imagine the irony of the situation. If I am proclaiming that Sri Radha's name is there in Radha Kund, Sri Radha's name is Radha Kund is mentioned in the Puranas, and the speaker doesn't indicate her presence on his body, people will say that you're a hypocrite because although you are proclaiming her glories, you are not clearly wearing her indications on your body. For this reason, only for this particular talk, I am wearing it. Next talk, you'll again see me with Gopi Chandan. So whenever this particular topic will come up, I'll try and wear this particular tilak, because usually we keep these things hidden. But actually Sri Radha Kunda is the sampatti, the inheritance of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And it is the Gaudiya Vaishnavas who should inherit this place and proudly wear the symbols of Sri Radha Kunda. So only for this particular specific part of the discussion. And otherwise Gopi Chandan is, we denote ourselves as a followers of the gopis. Why? Because Ramya Kachid Upasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Ya Kalpita. We are following the Upasana Paddhati, the mode of worship that was propagated by all the gopis. Therefore, in general, we take the dust of all the gopis on our head. But in specific, we take the dust of Sri Radha on our head. Therefore, today is a very specific day. Therefore, for this particular session, this particular tilak has been applied. So I hope that clarifies.
Next, we have a question from Vrinda Sundari Mataji.
Hare Krishna. I was wondering if there are other reasons given for why there's only one place named after Srimati Radharani. Does that have to do with, are there any other reasons given and stated somewhere, or is it pointing to mostly the reason that she's kept sort of secret because she's so valuable?
Yes, she's kept a secret because it's her glories. Many people proclaim her glories nowadays. It's only because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Rupa Goswami, the six Goswamis came and made her name so popular throughout the Vaishnava world. Otherwise, very few people knew about Sri Radha, and it is only Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who brought out her name and her mood. Actually, we want to keep her secret. We are in a big dilemma. We want to keep her secret only reserved for the most qualified, eligible people. But at the same time, we don't want her to get lost in obscurity. So we are always in this dilemma, because if we have a very precious diamond, we want few qualified people to know about them. But and we also don't want it to become obscure. But the problem in letting people know is that unqualified people also start speaking about it. So today in Sri Vrindavan, there is a lot of talk about Sri Radha, but there's very little talk about her mood. There are TV serials made around Sri Krishna and Sri Radha. I don't know how many of you have seen. There's a TV serial on Sri Krishna and Sri Radha. I've tried my best to avoid even looking at the advertisements of that, because one thing I know for sure, that the people who made that, they invested a lot of money in decorating the body of the actors who played Sri Radha and Sri Krishna. Instead, they should also have paid equal amount of attention and given equal amount of resources to discussing the sweetness of the mood of Sri Radha. That mood always remains a secret for most of the world. And therefore, she is obscure for most of the world. Even though people are shouting her names in Sri Vrindavan, her mood is very obscure. It is not easily understood. I hope that answers your query to some degree of satisfaction. Thank you.
Next, we have a question from Mihika Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for the explanation on verse 9 of Sri Upadeshamritam. Prabhu, my question is how, you talked about Vrindavan, that we can, if we're not able to go there physically, then we can go mental, or we can do it in our mind. So Prabhu, is there any way, because I'm not able to go to Radha Kunda yet, so is there a way if we can do it in our mind? Is there a process, or a way?
Yeah, there's a process. The process is to get initiated by a bona fide guru. That is the first step on the path of this particular process. After getting initiated by a bona fide guru, one should humbly inquire from one's Shiksha Guru and the Diksha Guru as to how one can begin the process of bhajan in the mind. The technical term for such bhajan is Manasi Seva. So one should ask one's Guru what is the procedure of performing this type of a Seva. When the Guru reveals this type of a Seva, the disciple is able to perform by the mercy of Shri Guru. So there is a way of doing it, but in order to perform such Seva, one has to be under the guidance of a Guru who is already situated on the path of Raganuga Bhakti. Therefore, to give a general answer to that question, how to reside in Radha Kund through the mind, is not possible very easily, because it is something which an individual does after gaining the grace and favor of one's Guru. So that is what I would like to say at this particular point of time. Thank you.
I have a question, Prabhuji. Do we have a concept of Vaidhi Bhakti that's performed where we regularly come in contact with things like Radha Govinda deities and the 10th canto and so on, which have the potential to spark lobha in us? So although Vaidhi Bhakti itself can't mechanically lead to lobha, but we come in contact with the items that can spark that. Is there like a term or concept for that?
All right. So this concept is not mentioned in most of the literature that I have read. There is one place in the writings of the Acharyas where I have seen that one of our Acharyas says that it is possible for a person who is engaged in Vaidhi Bhakti to progress to Raganuga Bhakti. This is only Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur whom I have seen saying. I will point out the song. The song is called Suno He Rasika Jana. This is in his Kalyana Kalpataru. And in this song, Suno He Rasika Jana, this is the first phrase, Krishna Guna Aganana. In that song, in the fourth stanza, he says, Vidhi Marga Rata Jane. A person who is Rata, who is fully devoted to Vidhi Marga. Swadhinata Ratna Dane. Krishna gives the gem of freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from the tight strictures of Shastra. Raga Marge Karaya Pravesh. And allows him to enter into the path of Raga. It is very few people are allowed to enter through this medium. This is not a general highway that everybody who is on the path of Vidhi will enter into the path of Raga. Vidhi Marga Rata Jane. Few people who have clearly understood Vaidhi Bhakti, who are executing Vaidhi Bhakti with the proper mindset, who don't have any misgivings about the path. To those people, there is a possibility that Krishna may allow them entry into the path of Raga Bhakti by introducing them to a guru who knows the path. Raga Vashavarti Haya, now then becoming fully possessed by Raga Bhakti. Parakiya Bhavashray, then he becomes sheltered under Parakiya Bhav, Madhurya Ras. Labhe Jiva Krishna Premavesh, then the Jiva gets fully overcome by Shri Krishna Prema. So there is only in this particular stanza have I seen a possibility of a devotee from Vaidhi Bhakti entering into the path of Raganuga Bhakti. Otherwise, the previous understandings of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu are all indicating that those are two parallel tracks. One who is in Vaidhi Bhakti stays in Vaidhi, one who is in Raga Bhakti stays in Raga Bhakti. So there are two parallel tracks. This is a traditional understanding. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives a small window of switching sides between Vaidhi and Raganuga Bhakti. This may happen only if we come in contact with a person who has that frame of mind of Raganuga Bhakti. See, the main thing is Swadhinata Ratna, the gem of freedom. Freedom from what? This is a very important question. Freedom from what? You can read the translation, Prabhu, of the fourth one.
Krishna eventually bestows the jewel of independence upon those persons who are attached to the path of rules and regulations, thereby allowing them entrance into the path of spontaneous loving service.
All right. So, jewel of independence. Independence from what? Is very important to understand. Can you try to answer this question, Ru? Independence from what?
Independence from needing the Shastra as a motivation to engage in service.
But Shastra is still needed in Raganuga Bhakti. You cannot fully give up Shastra. You have to follow Shastras.
Right. Yes, you don't give up the Shastras, but you don't need them to be motivated in your service.
Yes. So, the strictures of Shastra are given up. The strictures which prohibit one from experiencing raga, those strictures are given. That freedom is given. I will give you an example of one such freedom. Let's say, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions this. Let's say you are twice initiated and you have Brahma Gayatri mantra with you. Let's say it's noon time and you are sitting in a katha where discussions on Govardhan Leela etc. are going on. It's 12 o'clock in the noon and suddenly your mind thinks, oh, it's time to chant Gayatri. Now, if you're a Vaidhi Bhakta, you know the strictures of Shastra, you have to chant at a particular time. So sometimes I have seen some devotees in the middle of a katha, they will take out their Brahmin thread and quietly start chanting their Gayatri. So this shows a prominence of Vaidhi Bhakti. And there are some devotees who will think more important than Vaidhi, this particular stricture right now is the relishment of the spontaneity of the mood which is being described in the katha. So the Gayatri can wait for some time. Now this person knows when to, give up some rules in order to facilitate his or her Raganuga Bhakti. Therefore, whenever people ask me questions, what should I do? That is the first indication that you do not know what you should be doing. It's the first indication. This question looks good for somebody who's following Vaidhi Bhakti. Prabhuji, what should I do? All right, that's good. What should I? That's a good question for somebody who's on the path of Vaidhi Bhakti. But once you have been given Swadhinata Ratna, the gem of independence, and that gem is not given to anyone and everyone. It is only given to a person who knows the responsibility that comes along with it. That person will be able to enter into the path of Raga Bhakti. So I hope that answers your query, Prabhuji.
I'll follow up after a few more questions. Next we have Ashoka Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question is on the appearance day of Radha Kunda, right? Normally, not on, like my understanding is, and I just want you to see if it is correct, that on the Bahulastmi day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually 500 years back when he was in Vraja, he found or kind of rediscovered and re-established Radha Kunda, and that's why we are celebrating on that day. But when did the actual pastime with Aristasur happen? Is it also on Bahulastmi or was it some other day which it happened? And then why we do it at midnight? Like last Kartik, I was in Radhakund and then there was a huge festival and everyone was there at 12 midnight to take a dip. So is it because it was like normal understanding is that is when it was like Avirbhav is at 12 midnight. So just want to see what your thought is and if there is any praman somewhere mentioned.
Okay. In Sri Jiva Goswami in the Gopal Champu, he has given a praman. I'll try to find it. In the Gopal Purva Champu, he has given a praman for the appearance day of Radha Kund. So the appearance day of Radha Kund is Chaitra Purnima, actually.
Okay.
So Chaitra Purnima is the appearance day. That is the day on which Aristasur was killed. So it is in, I think, Purva. Let me see, 31st. I will try to find it and share it with you. Yeah, Chitra Yuta. Okay, yeah, I'll try to find it. And but
That's
in
fine. So that means actual Radha Kunda appearance, like the pastime with Aristasur was on Chaitra Purnima. And
yeah,
on Bahulashtami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu re-established it, right?
yeah, on Bahulashtami, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rediscovered it.
Yeah.
But the actual is Chaitra. Chaitra is the first, Indian month. So Chaitra and Purnima. So Chaitra Purnima is the day on which Sri Radha Kund, on the killing of Aristasur happened. And Radha Kund was rediscovered on Bahulashtami day by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So for us, both are like appearances.
Yes. Okay. And any significance of 12 midnight, like I see devotees lining up and taking dip in Radha Kunda at 12 midnight.
That's according to the nakshatra.
Okay.
When the constellation aligns with the Purnima, that's what it is.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Next we have Akshay Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, my question was related to, means I was trying to draw some correlation between the topic which we are discussing today, which is Radha Dasyam, and we had the verse from Rupa Goswami, and at the end we had from Raghunatha Das Goswami. Also in some Vaishnava bhajans by Narottam Das Thakur, he's praying Rupa Raghunatha Pade, and Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami at the end of every chapter of Chaitanya Leela, he's offering prayers to Rupa and Raghunath Das Goswami. So is there some specific reason for only amongst from the 6 Goswamis, the Rupa and Raghunath Das Goswami are offered prayers, or for this specific topic of Radha Dasyam?
Because Sri Rupa Goswami has given the methodology by which this is attained. If you see amongst the 6 Goswamis, which Goswami has systematically described Raganuga Bhakti in theory? Can you tell me? We'll need to be unmuted. Amongst the 6 Goswamis, in theory, which Goswami has given the perfect theory of Raganuga Bhakti?
Rup Goswami has given, Prabhuji.
In practice, which Goswami has shown the same?
Okay, this I am not aware of exactly.
In practice, which Goswami amongst the 6 Goswamis, attained the, highest levels of servitude to, displayed the highest levels of servitude to Sri Radha?
Raghunath Das Goswami.
So in theory and in practice, these are the 2 individuals. That is why their names are usually taken. Other Goswamis are also worshipable for us. All the 6 Goswamis are worshipable. But we Gaudiya Vaishnavs love hierarchies. Hierarchies means even amongst the 6 who are the ones whom we follow very closely. So in theory, there's nothing, we can't do anything unless we have the theory given by Sri Rupa Goswami. And the best example of the theory is Sri Raghunatha Das Goswami. Right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Next we have Vrinda Sundari Mataji. Are you able to unmute Vrinda Sundari? Okay, not hearing from her. So next we have Part Pancholi Prabhu.
Guruji, I have one more question. So the devotee who is aspiring for the Dasya Bhav, or the one who is aspiring for the Sakhya or the Vatsalya, so how
Sakhya.
they see the Sakhya for the Sakhya. So how they approach the Radha Kund, or how they see the Radha Kund from, for example, the one who is aspiring for the Madhurya Ras, for the Madhurya Bhav. So we know that the Radha Kund can be. Yes.
Those who are in other rasas are not supposed to take much interest in this direction. They're not supposed to do that. They have their own places. So many places are there for the sakhas in Vrindavan, in Govardhan. So many places are there for the servants. So why should every rasa have to come to Radha Kund? So Jiva Goswami has very clearly said in the Sandarbhas, and let me try to find this out. I think it's in the Bhakti Sandarbha or yeah. You can see Radha Kund is Rahasya Leela. Rahasya Leela means it's a confidential place. So Sri Jiva Goswami says in the Bhakti Sandarbha, and I am sharing my screen. Kintu Rahasya Leela tu, the secret pastimes, Paurusha Vikaravad Indriyai. For those whose senses are still having material defects, material, agitation, by those people should not try to meditate on this Rahasya Leela. And also Pitra Putra Dasa Bhavaischa, and individuals who are having the mood of a father, the mood of a son, mood of a servant, etc. Now here he does not include Sakhya. Why not Sakhya? Because some Sakhas are known as Priya Narma Sakhas, very confidential friends of Sri Krishna, who can accompany Sri Krishna in some pastimes. Therefore he has excluded a Sakhya here. But Pitra Putra Dasa Bhavaischa na upasya. They should not worship. Why Sriya Bhava Virodhat? This mood of Rahasya Leela, Radha Kund, etc. This is against the mood which they are cultivating. So they should not, their mood is separate, this mood is separate, separate mood, separate places. Right? Like in the world, in this world, we have a separate place where children go and play and enjoy themselves. And we have a separate place where adults go enjoy themselves. If adults start saying, how should I see a place where a child enjoys? People will say, why are you taking an interest in that? That place is not meant for you. That's a different place. This is a different place. Sri Jiva Goswami has said that. So I hope that clarifies. Okay. Thank you.
Prabhuji, how would you define Rahasya Leela?
Rahasya Leela means those pastimes in which basically which ends with rasa, or technically what is known as samprayoga. Those leelas are called Rahasya Leela. The leelas where the innermost chambers of the private rooms of Bhagwan are described. Basically, those are known as Rahasya Leela.
So, for example, the pastimes described in Ashtakaliya Leela Smaran books like Govinda Leela Amrita,
Yeah.
Sri Krishna Bhavanamrita.
Because in those pastimes, there are descriptions of touching, and not only touching, Sri Krishna doesn't even stop there. So in detail, those pastimes should not be relished by those people whose material senses get agitated. Sri Jiva Goswami has said, Paurusha Vikaravadinde. Paurusha Vikar means the a transformation due to having a male ego, basically. Paurusha Vikaravadindriya. And Pitra Putra Dasa Bhavaishcha. And those who are having other moods such as Pita, parental mood, Putra, mood of a son, mood of a servant, etc. They should not get into these things. So that is what it is.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Next, we have a question from Bishpati Roy Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam. So today's class was really awesome. Like one of the best class for me in Upadeshamritam lecture. So I have a question that you have mentioned that we should learn the art of I'm not remembering the exact phrase you said. I think to read between middles of line or something like that you said.
Yeah.
So my question is now with time I am while I read the commentaries of Acharya, then many such concepts are like I come to know that between two verses, what is the connection? How why the next verse is said after a verse? But when I see your presentation, it is like on another level. Like when you also give presentations of Padyavali, like the connection you made between the Leelas. And so my question is that how should we develop that quality? Because sometimes we may think that okay, it may be our imaginary uh, concoction, what we are thinking. So how do we develop that quality properly to see between the lines of works of acharyas?
See, sometimes we use the term imagination. What is the meaning of imagination? Imagination means something which has come from our mind. This term has become a very negative term in the devotee society. Imagination. You should not imagine anything. Why? Because imaginations are necessarily incorrect. This is the mood that all of us have come to understand. Do the Goswamis support this mood? This question is very important. Sri Rupa Goswami, when he was writing Natak Chandrika, Sri Rupa Goswami said that the subject matter is here is drama, Natak. And in a drama, there are three types of storylines. What are the three types of storylines in a drama? So he said that the three types of storylines in a drama, I will specify here. See here, I am sharing my screen with you. So Rupa Goswami is saying iti vritta, plot of a drama. Atha iti vrittam, plot of a drama. Iti vrittam bhavet khyatam kliptam mishram iti tridha. The plot of a drama is of three types. Khyatam, that which is taken from the ancient Puranas, which is historical. Second is kliptam, that which is imagined by the poet. Mishram, a mixture of imagination and history. Iti tridha. These are the three types of plots in a drama. Shastra prasiddham khyatam syat. What is popular in Shastra, which is historical, that is known as khyata. This is the first type of plot. Kliptam kavi vinirmitam. Klipta, what is imagined is manufactured by the kavi or the expert poet. Taya sankulata mishram. And both of them mixed together are known as mishra. There is a space for imagination in drama. There is a space for that. And that space has been given by none other than Srila Rupa Goswami. Unfortunately, the term imagination has been debased to such an extent that any thought that a devotee has, he starts doubting himself. Is this my imagination? Answer to your query in short and sweet. If a thought comes to your mind and that thought is according to the principles of Rasa Shastra that has been given by Sri Rupa Goswami, even if it has come from your imagination, but because it is perfectly in line with the framework given by Sri Rupa Goswami, it should not be disrespected. You can write it down. Tomorrow, some people may not have faith in your explanations. They are free to reject it. But there will be some people who may have faith in your explanations. They should be free to accept it. So this is what is reason. Many times I am discussing the commentary of Sri Harisuri, and I openly say his name because there are many people who speak about Sri Harisuri's realizations but don't want to name him. That is very ungrateful. A person who wrote such realizations, we don't even speak his name. That is most ungrateful. So sometimes people say, oh, the milk started boiling because the milk was thinking, what is the, you have heard that realization in Damodar Leela, the milk starts boiling and Sri Harisuri gives that realization. Because milk was thinking, what is the use of my life if Krishna is drinking the breast milk of Mother Yashoda? Now somebody may say, is this imagination of Sri Harisuri? But this you can, some people may call it imagination, but it is perfectly in line with Rasa Shastra because Rasa Shastra allows a figure of speech called Utpreksha. Utpreksha means wherein a poet, through his samadhi is able to find out a particular reason for a particular event. Sri Jiva Goswami also gives an example of Utpreksha. I'll give an example of Utpreksha that Sri Jiva Goswami gives. Utpreksha means the poet finds a reason for a historical event, but that reason is not mentioned in Shastra. रावणस्यापि रामास्त्रो भित्त्वा हृदयमाशुगः विवेश भुवि आख्यातुम् उरगेभ्य इव प्रियम. That Ravanasyapi Ramastro, Shri Ram's arrow pierced the chest of Ravan and entered into the earth. This is historical. This part is historical. Okay. Now Jiva Goswami adds the Utpreksha there. Now what is the Utpreksha? This has come from the poet's imagination. Why did the arrow pierce Ravan's heart and enter into the earth? Because the arrow went into the lower planetary systems, and in lower planetary systems there is the planet of the serpents, and the arrow is also serpent headed. So the arrow is also a serpent, and it went to the lower planetary systems to convey the good news to its relatives that I am the one who killed Ravan. So this is the poet's Utpreksha. I hope you're able to understand. Somebody may say, oh, is this Jiva Goswami's imagination? So the imagination is not a bad word when it is used in accordance with the principles of Rasa Shastra. Imagination is bad when we use it against the principles of Rasa Shastra. Let me give you an example of bad imagination. Prabhu, today I was meditating and I saw orange colored Krishna. So this is bad meditation. Why? Because it is neither Rasik nor it is based on Shastra. So once somebody becomes an expert poet and their imaginations are based on the framework given by the 6 Goswamis, they can write down whatever came to their mind, and then if somebody respects that particular poet, then they can relish those realizations. That is the answer to your query. All right.
Next we have Bhavya Bhagavan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for your wonderful narration about Radha Kunda pastime, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I've got two questions, but both of them are not related to today's class. One is related to last class, and one is related to your yesterday's answer on Sri Govardhan, Prabhu. So if you may allow, I can ask, Prabhu.
Okay, one question. You can ask the first question.
So Prabhuji, first question is about in the last class, you mentioned about Shastra Adhikar. So how do we as Gaudiya Vaishnavas understand what is our Shastra Adhikar, Prabhu? So the Guru tells us, or how do we really know, Prabhuji?
See, Prabhu, I told you one thing. No? If this question is arising in your mind, how do I know? What should I do? It means it is a very clear indication that the pravritti, the tendency in bhakti is still Vaidhi Bhakti. My question to you, Prabhu, is what is your fear out of which you are asking this question?
Maybe that I don't get into something for which I'm not qualified.
And then what will happen if you get into something for which you are not qualified?
I might not really understand the real meaning or the real essence of that Prabhuji.
And then what is the harm?
I might concoct something or I can derive a wrong meaning, Prabhuji.
So this fear is the driving force in this case. So because this fear is the driving force, the impelling force right now in questions like these is still Vaidhi. When one comes in contact with a guru who tells us about the path of Raganuga Bhakti, the guru imparts knowledge in such a way that the disciple develops the confidence that what I have to do in my particular spiritual life and which shastras I need to read. Sri Jiva Goswami gives that confidence in his commentary to Anyavilashita Shunyam. Whatever is favorable for one's bhakti, those literature should definitely be read. Those literature are certainly expected to be read by. I have shown this many times. When in this class also and previously also I have in this series I have shown this. Let me show it once again so that devotees can once again see what I was showing. This is 1.1.11 Anyabilashita Shunyam, and Sri Jiva Goswami says Tasyavashyapekshaniyatvat. Yes, I'll share my screen. Here it is. Jnanam atra nirbheda brahmanusandhanam. One type of book is not allowed for you. Bhavya Bhagavan Prabhu. Can you see which type of book is not allowed for you?
Jnanam atra nirbheda brahmanusandhanam.
Yeah. So one type of gyan is not allowed for you. Nirbheda Brahma Anusandhanam. What is the meaning of Nirbheda Brahma?
Prabhuji, maybe
Impersonal Brahman.
impersonal Brahman. Yeah.
So research Anusandhan, research into impersonal Brahman is not allowed for you. Na tu bhajaniya tattva anusandhanam. Don't think that even bhajan tattva, research into bhakti is not allowed. Don't think like this. You are definitely allowed research into bhakti tattva. Shri Jiva Goswami goes ahead and says, Tasya avashya apekshaniyatvat. Such knowledge is certainly expected from you. Now let's say Shri Jiva Goswami comes in front of you and says, whatever is favorable for your bhakti, that knowledge is certainly expected from you, and that you should definitely cultivate. After hearing that statement from Shri Jiva Goswami, what do you feel?
We should explore and we should really dive deeper, Prabhuji.
So he gives you the confidence. That confidence is the key.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Right? But if you go repeatedly every verse, you can go for every book, every verse, every word. Oh, Shri Jiva Goswami, should I read this book? Oh, in this book, should I read this verse? Oh, in this verse, should I read this letter? Now, after a few iterations of this, Shri Jiva Goswami will give you one instruction. That whatever is favorable for your bhajan, you should do. Whatever is not favorable for your bhajan, you should not do. I have given the warnings. You are intelligent. You should know how to take decisions for your own self. All right?
Understood,
Because you can take a horse to the river, but you can't force the horse to drink water. The horse has to drink water by his own intelligence. I hope you're able to understand. So that is what
Got it,
is
Prabhuji.
being indicated here.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, it seems like a lot of this conversation is kind of like children asking about the birds and the bees
Right.
from adults
Right.
when they don't have any such feelings, and it's really difficult to understand.
Yeah. They ask their parents, how did I come to this world? The parents say, "Oh, you were delivered outside the home by a flying stork." Yeah. But later, when they grow up, when they become adult, they understand. And then nobody needs to tell them. That's what it is.
And so without those kinds of feelings like attraction to the opposite sex, it's all just theoretical. And similarly, if we don't have that intense desire to attain one of the sweet moods of the Vraja Vasis, then our questions will always be premature. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. And there will always be that shadow of a doubt. Am I doing it correctly? Am I doing it incorrectly? So when somebody has, let's say somebody is on the path of Raganuga Bhakti, they have that confidence and they know that even if something goes slightly incorrect, still it's not a big harm, because Sri Krishna has said this in the Srimad Bhagavatam, that even if some part of your bhakti goes a little bit of incorrect, still, there is no harm in the execution of such a bhakti. I'll try to find that verse. But yeah, here it is. I'm sharing my screen. न ह्यंगोपक्रमे ध्वंसो मद्धर्मस्योद्धवाण्वपि मया व्यवसितः सम्यक् निर्गुणत्वादनाशिषः. This is from the Bhakti Yoga chapter. Prabhu, can you kindly read the translation?
My dear Uddhava, oh no. My dear Uddhava, because I have personally established it, this process of devotional service unto me is transcendental and free from any material motivation. Certainly a devotee never suffers even the slightest loss by adopting this process.
When Krishna gives that confidence and the devotee has that confidence that I'm willing to take this particular process and Even if there is some small mistake on the path, Bhagavan will take care of it. That is the confidence which is needed. But it should not be blind confidence that now I don't even need Shastra. That is blind confidence. Confidence based on Shastra. Mature confidence based on the Shastra and the guidance of the previous acharyas. That is the ideal combination we are looking at. Okay.
Next, we have Parama Karuna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Okay.
So just a follow-up question on this. The way kind of you're putting it is basically, it appears to me, maybe I'm just phrasing it a little bit more dramatically or more harshly, but you're taking away the sort of saying that, if you're asking a question, what should one do or what should one not do, then you're sort of on the Vaidhi path. But at the same time, you have, and not just you, I mean, in the Shastra, it's mentioned that under the guidance of the Guru only the Raga path, Raganuga path needs to be, adopted. So what is the role of the Guru if not to answer questions of the disciple? Is it just the initial blessing or mercy or the kripa or whatever is the right term? Beyond that, what is the role of the Guru? Of course, the role of Shastra is clear, to become mature and advanced. But if going to the Guru is kind of is kind of considered not, the right, if to ask a question is not the right sort of thing, then I'm a little can you clarify this?
No, thank you. Thank you for asking the questions. Now it allows me to bring a more subtle detail out in the answer. Disciples go to gurus asking, what should I do, for two reasons. One disciple goes to the guru, what should I do, because he's afraid that he may do something wrong. Another disciple goes, what should I do, because he wants to know a certain detail which is not yet known. There's a big difference between these two people. If a disciple is going repeatedly to the guru because of a fear that I may end up doing something wrong, obviously that is an indication of bhai of violating the Shastras. And this is a clear indication of being on the path of Vaidhi Bhakti. In Raganuga Bhakti, a disciple approaches the guru and the disciple gets trained initially, asks, what should I do? Not because he's afraid of breaking what should I do in order to facilitate my lobha? What should I do in order to attain that Shri Krishna Prema? And later also when the disciple approaches the guru, what should I do? Because they are not able to find out a particular answer for a particular question, and which is keeping them stuck at a particular point. Let me give an example. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, when he was deciding on the number of syllables of Kama Gayatri, he was stuck because he was calculating the number of syllables of the Kama Gayatri and half a syllable was not matching. So here also he's, what should I do in order to count it perfectly? He has a question, but there's nobody who could answer him. So even those who are already on the level of Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also have those questions. What should I do? But the motivating factor behind those questions is not fear. The motivating factor is that I'm stuck on a particular place and my progress doesn't seem to happen beyond this particular point. So what should I do? Those are Raganuga devotees. And now, what should I do, Prabhu? Should I read this or not? Because I'm afraid if I may read something wrong. This is a clear indication of Vaidhi. So this is the subtle difference between these two types of disciples. So I hope that clarifies the query.
Yes,
Yeah.
pretty clear. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Next, we have Bhavya Bhagavan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Nandanam. So Prabhuji, in the answer to Sri Govardhan, so I think Manjari Mataji had asked in the group that do we put peacock feather on Govardhan ji? And you answered that we don't put, and on like Lord Vaman Dev, Lord Narasimha Dev also, we don't put peacock feather. Prabhuji, I'd wanted to ask that in 7th canto, photo of Narsim Dev killing Hiranyakashipu while Prahlad Maharaj is offering garland. In that particular picture, Prabhuji, Narsim Dev seems to have 3 peacock feather. So, Prabhuji, I just wanted to know how do we really understand that, Prabhuji?
Is the painting Praman or is the Shastra Praman? That's what I'm asking you. Does the Srimad Bhagavatam say in the 7th canto that Narasimhadev was wearing a peacock feather? If you can find me, I'll give you a gold coin. Okay, promise.
Okay.
Right? Huh? But you won't find that reference in the 7th canto. Some artists may have that feeling. See, there is non-difference between Narasimhadev and Krishna. Some artists prefer the non-difference aspect. Some artists prefer the difference aspect. I personally like the distinction aspect, where an artist distinguishes entities based on the characteristics described in Shastra. Some artists prefer the non-difference aspect. So that's okay. So I've seen some artists paint Sri Balram with a peacock feather. So that they have a particular mood. And I don't want to speak publicly against anybody's mood. But it may not be my mood. My mood is different. My mood is, I like the distinction aspect, where every entity has a distinct compartment for them, even in terms of art. That is what I like.
Actually, like what I thought was this painting is approved by Srila Prabhupada. So I think there must be something behind it.
See, once again, when we give an institutional angle to a particular question, it becomes loaded.
Yeah.
So let's not load the question with, if you already knew that the painting is approved by Srila Prabhupada, why ask the question?
Yeah, but I had this doubt actually.
All right. You shouldn't have a doubt na, if the painting is approved by Srila Prabhupada. So the problem is in the doubt that you have even after the painting is approved by Srila Prabhupada. I have no doubts in my mind. The painting may be approved by Srila Prabhupada, but the artist has drawn by seeing non-difference between Narasimhadev and Krishna. Shastra does not show Narasimhadev with a peacock feather. At least I have not seen such a reference. Because the peacock, let's see from the point of view of rasa. What is the point? What is the utility of peacock feather from the point of view of rasa? Can you tell me, Prabhuji?
I don't know, Broji. Like in the
It acts
context of
as an uddipan, a stimulant for the gopis when they see it on the ground in Shri Vrindavan. It acts as a stimulant for Shri Krishna. Now, does it have the same utility with Sri Narasimhadev?
Absolutely not.
Then what, from the point of view of rasa, what is the utility of peacock feather on Bhagwan Narasimhadev?
Yeah.
So our consideration is ras vichar and also tattva vichar. So ras vichar, there is no point on putting, peacock feather over Narasimhadev, because if the gopis see Narasimhadev holding a peacock feather, there will be a mixture of two incompatible rasas. So that is what we are not supposed to do. So these are, when we explore it into deeper concepts like rasa, etc., we'll understand why something should not be done. Something should not be done. Why should we not put a peacock feather or a flute on Giriraj Govardhan? If we put a flute on Govardhan, what are we signifying? Can you please tell me?
That is Krishna.
So then the gopis should have Ras Leela with Govardhan.
Yeah.
Logically, that's what the gopis should do. Right?
Yeah.
And will Govardhan like that, or is it horrible for Govardhan?
No, he'll absolutely not like that. Because
Then why
he's
are
the servant.
Obviously. Those who do not have ras vichar, they will try to do these things. Nowadays, many people are doing many things. There is also a concept wherein if you find a Govardhan Shila which is slightly whitish in color, the people start calling it Radha. Has Govardhan ever become Radha in the writings of the six Goswamis?
No, they call it Girirani.
Yeah. But in the writings of the six Goswamis, there is no conception of Govardhan as Sri Radha. Secondly, there is a big philosophical problem with that. Govardhan is Jiva Tattva, Krishna Tattva, or Shakti Tattva.
Prabhuji, maybe Krishna Tattva.
Krishna Tattva. He's certainly not a Jiva. Yes.
Yeah.
So when we portray Govardhan as Sri Radha, we are portraying Vishnu Tattva as Shakti Tattva.
Yes.
Is that not a big mix-up of two tattvas? Right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So these are all considerations from the tattva point of view. There are implications in doing what we do. Big implications in doing what we do. Philosophical implications and implications from the point of view of rasa. And therefore we should be very careful in adopting a sentiment. And when we bring a deity home, or when we try to follow a particular sentiment, we should see if the sentiment is in line with the writings of the six Goswamis. They are the authorities when it comes to rasa vichar and tattva vichar. Sri Rupa Goswami is the authority in rasa vichar. Sri Jiva Goswami is the authority in tattva vichar. That is what it is.
So, Prabhuji, will it lead to na siddhim na param gatim if we do something like that?
I told you, even I showed the verse. There may be small mistakes in execution on the path of bhakti. You may get a different result, but you will not fail. There is no failure on the path of bhakti. But do you want a different result?
No.
So that is what matters.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for clarifying so many things.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
Previously, my understanding was that there's no mechanical process for obtaining lopa. It's not that just by following Vaidhi Bhakti that automatically you will enter into Raganuga Bhakti. But when we associate with an advanced devotee who has a Raganuga mood, or we read Krishna Leela, or we see the beautiful forms of Radha and Krishna on the altar, it's possible for that lobha to arise.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yes. It is possible, yet we cannot have a mechanical formula around it. It may not happen. And why it may happen or it may not happen is specifically because, Bhagwan or Bhagwan Shakti doesn't want it to happen. Or in some cases, Bhagwan Shakti or Bhagwan wants it to happen. So if we make a mechanical formula around it, the first big issue that will happen is people will institutionalize the formula. And once people institutionalize the formula, that so step A, step B, step C, get loba. That is the death of the process. The living process will die if it is put into a mechanical formula. And therefore, the living process is independent. It has an independent thought, and it will not come to a certain person. If it doesn't like a certain person, it doesn't come to it. In the past, I've applied for a visa to go to a foreign country. Sometimes they reject you simply because of the way you look. They don't give an explanation. You can't ask them why I fulfilled all the criteria. Why was I not given the visa? Well, the interviewer didn't like the way you look. That's what it is. They may not tell you the reason. That was the actual reason. Bhakti Devi does not like your attitude. This may be the reason why a person may not get loba. So that is what it is. We should try to cultivate the most favorable attitude as described by the six Goswamis, by the Acharyas, so that our chances of attaining it are improved. That is what is in our control. That is the answer to the query.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And I've lately been remembering a statement I read once, and I can't find it, but it was something like, if a sadhaka doesn't hear the pastimes of Krishna and Gauranga Mahaprabhu, then their spiritual life will become dry.
All right.
It seems really true to me that although we don't want to, as neophyte, new devotees, immediately hear about Krishna's pastimes in a way we might misunderstand, we also don't want to go our entire spiritual life avoiding the pastimes that are meant to attract us. And so is it that we should do our Vaidhi Bhakti, but also make sure that we take time to read Krishna book, to read the 10th canto, Ananda Vrindavan Champu, and regularly come in contact with the kind of articles that could give rise to this?
Of course.
Raganuga.
Of course, that is what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, I used to quote the commentary, when a neophyte becomes disgusted with his level of advancement, that is when he, starts the real process of advancement. I've quoted that from the 11th canto. So actually, disgust and dissatisfaction with one's current level of advancement is the reason why people start associating with devotees who are more qualified. And one must do it at a certain point of time. One must do it. Otherwise, how will one advance? There's no way of advancing, and it should come through the volition of the individual who is dissatisfied. If we are not feeling dissatisfied, the volition will not happen. It's not that I will take you to a person and then you will. No, it cannot happen like that. The volition, the voluntary act of feeling dissatisfied should come from your heart. Only then, because a person who feels hungry, only that person will search for food. Suppose you are not hungry and I take you to a place, now you eat here. You will not have the satisfaction of, you have to feel hungry. Then you go out and search for it. That is what it is.
It's clear, Prabhuji. Thank you. One last thing. I was thinking, as you were speaking, I was thinking how to harmonize that idea that Krishna gives you that impetus for Raganuga Bhakti with the verse Samoham Sarvabhuteshu Name Dveshto Sina Priya. Is it that Krishna is looking to make sure we fall?
Ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya. In the immediate next line, he contradicts the first two lines. But those who have a samskar from previous lives of worshipping me, for them I am making some special arrangement. So he's biased towards those. In the same verse, he's contradicting the first two lines. Samoham sarva bhuteshu na me dveshyosti na priya. But ye bhajanti tu. Those, however, tu. What does tu mean? However. However means he is making a contradiction. So that is what it is.
So it's not that he's arbitrarily saying, I like this devotee, I don't like that devotee, but he's looking for whether we're qualified and sincere.
Yeah, he's looking for whether through past many lives we have had inclinations of associating with the sadhus. Once he chooses individuals based on that particular criteria. Some devotees, some individuals have no such inclination. Sometimes he makes an exception that even though this person has no inclination, still I'm going to give him some association of a sadhu. He may do it once or twice, but not every time. Those are exceptions. Like in every university, some people are chosen on basis of some qualification that they have earned from previous schools. But sometimes a university gives what is known as an honorary degree. An honorary degree is given to somebody even though they may not have qualified themselves. But honorary degree cannot become the standard degree of a university. That is what it is.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I need to pass on my role as a host to Karuna if he's
I think
available.
he's on a phone, Prabhu. So I think I'll
Okay.
take over and then.
Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Next we have Vrinda Sundari Mataji. I'll ask Mataji to unmute.
Hi, Krishna Prabhu. Earlier you were pointing to this a little bit already, but I was wondering about the fear that you were speaking of when devotion is motivated by fear or to a certain extent of fear. And it seemed that you were sort of saying that it's obstructive to bhakti. And I'm wondering, is it completely obstructive, or is it healthy in some way, in the sense of like sacred caution?
Yeah, so Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says in his literature, I think he's mentioned that there are many motivations by which individuals engage in bhakti. And I will try to find it. He says that people engage in bhakti either because first they have bhai. Bhai means they have fear. Second, they have kartavya buddhi. Kartavya buddhi means they have, I should do it because it is my duty. And third, because they have rag, they have genuine attachment to Shri Krishna. So these are the categorizations that he gives. Fear is good initially as an initial motivator as long as it is healthy fear. Because some fear can be really destructive to one's bhakti. I know of a devotee who initially had issues with sense control. He was a new boy. He was a teenager. He had issues with controlling his senses, and he left the path. And after many years, I met him on a railway station, and I asked him, "Why did you leave?" He said, "Better to be an honest person rather than being a pretender, and I'm not able to follow." So I said, basically, you left the path because you were not able to control your senses. Yeah, and there's so much negative reaction mentioned. So I was afraid of that. So some fear can be really demotivating. Initially, healthy fear is okay. But from that point, one should rise up to the level of kartavya buddhi. It is my duty to engage in bhakti. And from that point, one should rise to the level of raga. Raga means one should perform bhakti because of love. Shastra also does like this. Suppose there's an individual couple married couple who doesn't want to have children. They can have children, but they don't want to have children because they're lazy. They don't want to take care of the child. So Shastra says your rina, your indebtedness to your ancestors will not be paid, and you will end up getting a severely negative reaction in your next life. This is where Shastra is speaking the language of bhai or fear. Later Shastra says, well, because your ancestors expect you to have a child. For thousands of years, they brought your family lineage to this point. What for? So that you will murder that lineage? No, it is your duty to continue to the lineage. This is kartavya buddhi. And then when you actually have a child and then you fall in love with the child, that is when you raise the child with rag or with love. So it's not always the same motivation, shouldn't stay always. So that is what is being indicated here. I hope that makes it clear. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So next we have Akshay Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, since we are discussing about Radha Kund, if you could talk something about taking bath in Radha Kund. There are different versions which I've heard that one should be taking, one shouldn't not be taking because we are not qualified. So what is the Shastric or Gaudiya Vaishnava understanding on this?
The best thing is that Shastra will not give one direction to all people because all people are not on the same level of qualification. Some people will go to Radha Kund in order to collect coins from Radha Kund or whatever has fallen inside Radha Kund. Some people will go to Radha Kund because they see it as the Goswamis see it. Now, a person who takes a bath in Radha Kund simply to collect coins or some fallen rings, that person has a different level of qualification. The motivation there is different. A person who enters into Radha Kund because they want to serve Srimati Radharani's mood, that person has a different level of qualification. Why should Shastra give two different people with two different level of qualifications the same answer? Like it's like asking a question, should a person who is experiencing pain take painkillers? The answer is not yes. No. Answer is depending on what problem the individual has. Depending on that, they should either take or not take painkillers. So it's Shastra cannot give a generic answer to a question wherein the qualifications of different people are involved. That is the answer to your query. Right. Thank you. All right. Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu, all the queries are done. Are you there?
Yes, Prabhuji, I'm here. So thank you so much again and again for for all your wonderful preparation for these classes. And that's not just the hours you spend preparing each individual class. I don't know how you do it with your busy schedule, but it also includes all the years of study that you put in. We're so fortunate to have your association. We're very grateful. And I'll invite all the devotees to unmute and give you a big thank you.
Thank you, Hari Prasad Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hari
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Thank you very much,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Very, very, very beautiful.
Thank
Srila
you.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Such a lovely class.
Shriman Hariprasad Prabhu Ji ki jai.
Such an
Srila
amazing.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare
Srila
Krishna.
Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you,
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Great Hari Prasad
Thank you so much, Prabhu Ji. Thank you so much. Wonderful.
Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All right, anything else before we go?
Thank you. Thank you.
Haribo.
Dhanyavad, Hare
Haribo.
Krishna.